All right.
Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Chandler, or the Geek Slays, and welcome back to the Scuffed As Podcast, episode 124. Today, we are joined by a very special guest. You probably know him from his music playing on my stream all the time. We got Whensday. How you doing today, my guy?
Wonderful, wonderful. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Now, I just did a podcast a couple weeks ago with Mindy, and I'm going to let you know right off the bat I don't know the most about the music industry, so these questions are coming from a place of not knowing a ton.
All good, all good.
But I always want to start it off kind of the same way with what got you into making music? How did your music career start?
I guess I don't know. I mean, growing up in school, moving schools a lot. You try to fit in with make friends and whatnot. And I always had a lot of trouble fitting in with crowds and not being like the cool guy necessarily. So I always liked music growing up, and growing up with my grandparents too. My grandpa would sing a lot, and I was like, man, maybe if I made music, maybe people would think I was cool, but it never turns out how you think. People clown you at the beginning. And of course, having the name Wednesday didn't help. People would be like, you spelled it wrong, blah, 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 blah. And, but fast forward to right now, it's paying off. It's got its stresses just like anything else, but it's a thing that I love to do. So, shout out to Grandpa for getting me on music and loving all kinds of genres, not just rap and hip hop and whatnot. So that's pretty much the gist of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Gotta love the family ties there. So,
For sure, for sure.
what made you choose rap specifically? Is that just the genre you lean towards the most, like personally listening to, or
I guess I first discovered rap when I was like, I don't know, maybe like third grade or something. I don't even know how to turn off these notifications. Like, something like that. I'm so new to this. I'm sorry,
no?
but
You're good.
yeah. So I was like in third grade, and my cousin showed me Jay-Z for the first time. Man, I think it was 99 Problems. And I was like, yo, rap is crazy. Like, how do they get these words to like rhyme? Because growing up, I really listened to whatever my grandpa listened to or what dad and mom listened to in the house. So to me, just being able to rhyme words on a beat and just have it flow so consistently and dope, I was like, I wanna figure out how to do that. So I would, walk around with my little CD player, big ass headphones, and I would just like rewrite my own remixes to songs. And um, it was just something that I wanted to master. I wanted to be able to tell a story or just rhyme words cohesively. But I wouldn't say that I make just rap. I mean, a majority of it is rap, but I like to kind of dip into like R&B maybe, or some like bedroom pop or some indie alternative. I want to show people that I'm not just the rapper. Like, I can make you anything really. I can make you a song in Spanish. Even like people around me joke, when are they going to get the country album? Maybe that might happen down the road. I don't know, but I do love rap, but I also love all kinds of genres, and I'm not just boxed into one thing. Like, I could give you whatever you want, really.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You gotta love the ability to do more than one thing. I don't think a ton of people can. Seen a lot of people try and not be able
Yeah.
to do it. So that is fair. Now, if I remember correctly, The Sky is Blue is your newest album, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I see, I don't remember if it's the entire album or just most of it. You collaborated with Flixo. How did that happen? How did that start?
So yeah, he mixed, mastered, and produced the entire album on his own. So shout out to Flixo, it's my boy. Um, we first started communicating. It was a few years ago. He found me on SoundCloud, if I'm not mistaken. He could probably tell you better, but um, he reached out to me, just telling me that he liked the music and he wanted to collab eventually. And after a couple of months of just kind of not knowing what to do, we ended up collabing on our first song. That really kind of stuck was "Make It Right," and ever since then, I mean, we haven't turned back. You know, we collab consistently all the time. I have music where we might not collaborate, but I want to say like 90% of my catalog maybe is already produced by Flixo. And, you know, we just push each other to create something different. We don't want to give people the same sound every single time we drop. So, you know, this is the second album that we've released together where it's just me and him exclusively on the production. And I mean, the guy's a genius. You know, I got to give him his flowers. I wouldn't be where I'm at sonically or, you know, as far as lyrically without him. He's always telling me, you know, right. Because before working with him, you know, even now, still now and then, I don't write. I just play the beat, you know, do a take or two, and it's always just a freestyle. But he's really hard on writing and just bettering the craft and being a better songwriter. So that's my boy, and Sky is Blue is in my books a classic. So I'm gonna look back at that always and just be really grateful for these moments that we've had and the collabs that we're making and still have more to make. So.
I'm a big fan of The Sky's Blue, the entire album. I think that's the first album of yours I heard though. That's the majority of what I've listened to, because gotta find music I'm allowed to play on stream, which is shockingly difficult. But at least to find good music that you can play on stream, it's a pain. There's all sorts of weirdos who are like, I made a beat and it's awful. It's like, who's listening to this for 12 hours a day, bro? Come on. But
yeah, no, I've heard that it's been a struggle with streamers trying to find music on, you know, to play on Twitch without getting it taken down or whatever the issue is with it. But you know, I've had streamers reach out to me and say, "Is it cool if I play that?" By all means, like go for it. Play it as much as you want. Play whatever you want. You're always gonna have my permission. There's never an issue with that.
That's awesome. And I think most musicians sit at the same point you do, where like they want it to be played on people's streams. It's the higher ups, the record labels who are like, no, we own that. That's our money. And
that's 100%. Yeah, that's 100%. It's a lot of it has to do with the money end of it. You know, you don't want people making money off of you. You know, I'm not a very big person on the whole money end of it or materialistic. Like I'm here to just spread the joy, spread music, give the people what they want. And yeah, I mean, you can save all that other jazz for the birds.
Right. Like, I think the weirdest thing is, I don't know how many people are going into a streamer's stream just thinking, I'm only here for the music in the background. Like, I don't think the streamer's stealing the artists or the label's money. I think it almost benefits more because somebody will hear a song on a stream and be like, yo, who is that? What is that song? And that'll actually drive actual sales and actual numbers more than hoping somebody hears it somewhere. Whereas, like, there's a lot of streamers. Somebody's going to like your music. Somebody's going to want to play it so people can hear it.
That's right. You know, and I wish the labels and the higher ups had that mentality, but everybody's greedy these days. You know, it's big corporate and you know, whatever they say has to go and it has to fly. And so that's why I'm glad I'm independent for the moment, you know, whatever, but
fair.
I have my freedom. I can do whatever I want, drop whatever I want, and let whoever I want play my music on their streams. All for it.
That's awesome. So I'm going to move on to FTI. How did Whensday and FTI become a thing? How did you find FTI, or did they find you?
So Matt reached out to me, I want to say a year and a half ago, somewhere around that time. We had a mutual friend who goes by the name of Lord 45. I don't know if you know him. His name is Nick. And he was a fan of the music that we were putting out at the time, which was, you know, 2-3 years ago. And he reached out to me, you know, asked me if I wanted to be featured on a newsletter. And I don't know what all this is, but I was interested and I was down. That relationship, you know, ended up being something way bigger. And, you know, I consider Matt like a brother, the whole FTI community, everybody's family. You know, we're all here to just grow and expand and help each other any way that we can, benefit. So I'm very grateful for Matt, you know, reaching out and getting me in touch with people like you and everybody I've met along the way. love and support that he shows us. He goes out of his way to do above and beyond what we ask or what we need. And, that guy has a big heart, and I appreciate him and love him to death. And I got him, and I got everybody in the FTI community forever. So
For sure. That's something that I've just recently found FTI, I guess probably February, maybe. And yeah, just the Matt is crazy with what he will do for people and expecting almost nothing in return, which is not how that goes. It annoys me. We'll argue for an hour normally. It's like, hey, I don't have time to make a thumbnail for a YouTube video. You want to do it? Yeah. It's like, all right, how much do I owe you? Nothing. It's like, fuck you. Come on, man. This isn't how this works. So we'll argue for an hour and I'll get nowhere. Dude's crazy. Love that guy. But I mean, just like you were saying, yeah, the opportunities that FTI has allowed me to have and the people I've been allowed to meet, you, Mindy, Artie, all these cool people in the community that there's no shot I would have met if FTI didn't exist. But
yeah, no, man. Shout out to Matt. Matt, big love to that guy and everybody in the community. Everybody's super welcoming, and you probably experienced that too. Everybody shows love, and it's amazing. I love the community. I love Matt.
I mean, shit. While we're bragging up Matt, he's the reason this episode of this podcast is happening. So
for sure. Shout out to Matt.
But I think this is always interesting. I like getting people's view on this. I'm putting you on the spot. You can have one or two lists. It's entirely up to you. But I would like to know your top 10 rappers of all time and then your top 10 artists of all time. Because those are two very different categories.
Sure. Man. Top 10 rappers. Let's see. Jay-Z. Biggie. Lil Wayne. Kanye West. Drake. That's a hard one. You got me on that one.
Yeah.
Pharrell. Future. Rick Ross. Rick Ross always comes with bars. Game. The Game is dope. Tupac. Classic.
Oh, I was going to call you out for forgetting Tupac. That was
Tupac for sure. I mean, it took me a while to get on Tupac. I feel like I had to grow up a little bit and mature and to appreciate the bars and lyrics. Being young, you listen to it, but it doesn't really catch your ear until you're
right.
In your late teens or whatever. But for sure, those are my top 10 rappers. Artists, and Brockhampton.
Okay.
You can count those as all 10, but for sure, Brockhampton. The Weeknd's dope. And this is hard. You got me for sure. Yeah. Travis Scott is so fire. His earlier stuff more so, but
yeah.
Yep. Man, Black Eyed Peas. I feel like no one gives credit to Black Eyed Peas, man. They're responsible for a lot of the hits growing up.
That's true.
Ooh, man, I should have put this on my top 10 rappers, but I'll give him credit right now. Mac Miller for sure.
Okay.
Boy Pablo's dope. Oh, Break-Ins. Break-Ins is definitely in my top 10. Midwest, Glive, and there's this new guy. I don't know how many people know him, but he's pretty popping. Haylog or something like that.
Don't think I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's like hyper pop stuff, but that's what I've been on lately. Some hyper pop shit. And
okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss, but
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, those would be my top 10 right now at the moment.
Okay,
for sure.
I think I'm gonna call it out before somebody does in the comment section somewhere. You didn't put Eminem's name in your top 10. And I'm just curious, was that just a brain fart? Or are you one of the people who actually doesn't think Eminem deserves anywhere close to the list?
No, man, definitely Eminem. That's a bonus on both lists. I remember being in, like, I think I was in kindergarten when the 5 Mile movie came out.
Yeah.
Right. And that was like before my cousin played me Jay-Z. Like, that was my first experience at rap. And that movie was just like, man, it almost made me wanting to go like through the struggle that he was going in. I was like, I
Right?
need to experience that to get it to the level that he's at. But yeah, Eminem for sure. Classic, timeless music.
Yeah.
Always comes with the bars. I mean, that man is a genius in his own right. So yeah, for sure, Eminem. Holy cow.
Because I don't know, it's become a bigger thing on the internet now. People don't like Eminem anymore. So I had to see which way it leaned there. Because there are so many artists, you're going to forget names. Because, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, man.
you can create an entire top 10 list just off of guys that you don't think of initially. You know,
For sure,
like
for sure, for sure.
Tech Nine, Hobson.
Oof.
Like, there's all these other names that they might not be the first one in your head, but when somebody else says them, it's like, ooh, I did forget that one. You know, Andre
Yeah.
from Outkast.
Oh my. Yes, yes. Holy cow. Yeah. I mean,
There's
off
just
the
a
top of the
ton of
head,
names. So
there's so many grades for sure.
you're always gonna forget somebody, and somebody's gonna try to call you out for it. So I was trying to jump in before that happened.
I appreciate you reminding me how great Eminem is, and
Or
forever will be.
that could have been a more interesting conversation if you were one of the weirdos who's like, Eminem was never good. It was a lie.
No, man.
He,
No, you got to give that man his flowers for what he's done, and oh,
if
God, it's
nothing
just
else, it's just lyrically. He's a menace.
literally one of the greatest storytellers of all time, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely wild. But I think the same for a lot of guys. It's tough.
It is. It is.
It's tough.
That's a hard question. That's a hard question.
Absolutely. And I'm a weirdo, so like my top 10 artists would have been. See, it always comes down to like, am I supposed to be answering like who's the best or who I liked the most is always the question that comes up. Cuz
That's pretty hard.
like the main genre of music I listen to, I guess, is the genre that nobody knows what to call it. So like pop punk, punk rock, that type of. So like Linkin Park, Simple Plan. It's like I'm probably going to put Linkin Park in my top 10 artists of all time. Would most people? Probably not, but I will. Cuz like it's all opinion at that point. And then if you're trying to go the best, it's always weird cuz like the Beatles is tough. Like they
Oh,
were the best, but I don't know. I don't vibe with their music that much. There's some songs, sure, but it's like they're one of those bands. It's like I'm not gonna list them on my personal top 10.
right.
But if
Yeah.
we're talking about the best, you almost have to, right? It's one of
Yeah,
those.
I mean, it's kind of like the argument with like the Beach Boys, and Run DMC. Like, these are people who, like, in history, yes, they're the greatest, that have done it. But is it something that I'm like driving, somewhere and I put it on? Like, not really. But flowers and respects to them for what they did, and I mean, they're down in history. So
Absolutely. Keeping it weirdly on the rap train, what did you think? Because I'm always curious on people's opinions about this. The MGK Eminem beef. What did you think of that whole ordeal?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Flexo was a big fan of his latest album, of NGK's latest album. I don't know what it was called, but it was some kind of like, it was like rock
Yeah,
album or
his
something like
two
that.
newest, Tickets to My Downfall and
There you go.
Mainstream Sellout, are both more pop punk. And so
Yes.
I've begun to like MGK because he transitioned to music that is like my main thing to listen to. But
Yeah, I mean, that whole beef was just like super weird to me. It kind of almost felt like it was out of nowhere, but at the same time, like, it's cool for artists to spar. I wouldn't want anything to come out of it more than just songs back and forth,
sure.
of course. But I think it brings out a side of an artist that maybe they wouldn't have tapped into had they not had that,
Right.
spiel. And it's dope to get music from your favorite artist anytime, So
Yeah.
I played both of the songs. Did I favor one more than the other?
Yeah.
Yes, Eminem's, of course. Um, but it's good. It's good to be competitive and keep it in the music. It's you never want it to get out of hand or nobody lose anybody in the results of it. But
For sure.
yeah, I mean it was interesting and it was dope to see those two go at it.
We're lucky we didn't lose Eminem because of it when he called out Diddy for
Oh,
killing Tupac.
oh, oh.
I heard that and I was like, oh
It's
my God, he really gives zero fucks about
Oh,
anything,
for
huh?
sure, for sure. But you expect that from Eminem. He's
Right.
gonna say some pretty outlandish shit, but you got to know, like deep down, it's just wordplay, and it's
Right.
just he's having fun, and it's
Oh
good
yeah.
that that man can still have fun with it. Some artists just put out bland stuff, and it's like whatever, but that
For sure.
man still has passion for it, for sure.
Yeah, like you were saying, I mean, the the beef, you get the music out of it, which is always fun. Cause like Rap Devil and Kill Shot are both songs that like I don't think anyone in the world currently has them on playlists that they listen to every day. But they're songs you go back and listen to and like, man, that was a funny time.
It was one of my friends was actually just playing Kill Shot, and I was just like, wow, I like literally had forgotten about this
Yep.
song, and you listen to it, and it's just like, oh, this is so fucking fire.
Yep. It like I said at the time, I think Kill Shot was the better diss, but
It was.
Rap Devil might have been the better song. Like to just sit around and listen to. Rap Devil might have been the better like mainstream song, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, commercially,
Yeah, thank you.
if you really want to go sell it and whatnot, yeah, it would
Yeah,
be the better choice for it for sure. Yeah.
but I I don't know. I hate the weird. Well, MGK sucks because he lost to Eminem. It's like that might have been the best thing for him because it made him do
It,
something different that he's really good at.
for the longest time, I mean, I forgot MDK was a rapper. I didn't know that he still could come out with those kind of lyrics. So it was refreshing and it was good. Like he kind of came out and reminded people, like, if I really want to do this, I can
Yep.
still do it.
And then it transitioned him into a different genre, and people still clown him. Eminem made you switch genres. It's like, and now he's made more just on the sales of tickets to my downfall than he did in his entire career before that.
Oh, for sure.
He,
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing in disguise almost.
yeah, like he revitalized an entire genre of music that almost died. Nobody was making new pop punk stuff.
No,
MGK decides to do it, and now people are. Simple Plan is talking about doing another tour. Uh, who who just released an album for the first time in forever? My Chemical Romance. Like these bands are like coming back and like, oh shit, we did this, we can do this again. And if it wasn't for that beef, we wouldn't have it, which is awesome. The weird impacts those little things can have on the entire industry is insane.
for sure, man. Use it as a marketing strategy, whatever. Just come back. I mean, the point is you want to sell. Whether it be albums or tours, it's something to grab people's attention and start listening and be intrigued. And for him to come back and make another genre like that, not something that he's done before, I guess. Is really dope.
So, outside of you and Flixo for some of the beats or all of them, do you have like a team around you other than you and Flixo, or is it just kind of that?
So I'm managed by my best friend, Benny Proof. I've known him since we were in elementary school, and at one point, I think we were freshman or sophomore. I was like, "Hey, man, like I kind of want to take music seriously. Would you be my manager?" And he's like, "I don't know how to do that." But at the time, I was emailing a bunch of different venues around the city, trying to perform, headline, whatever, and I couldn't get anybody to, respond to me or take me serious. And Benny just kind of has that demeanor of, you're going to listen to me. So he literally emailed the same venues that I had emailed, and they all responded and were like, yeah, we're interested. And he got me my first headlining show, and I consider him like a big brother that I never had. But um, yeah, he's my manager. My little brother Jarrett, he also helps co-write songs, and he plays guitar, so he's musically inclined, you could say. And yeah, I mean, Flexo producing a majority of the records, and I mean, I have a bunch of great people around me that inspire me, and I have a good friend from West Liberty. She actually wrote and recorded the intro on Sky is Blue, that
Okay.
poem intro. So she wrote it. I call her N because I can't pronounce her name very well, and I don't want to massacre it on here. But shout out to her. We're working on something right now that I'll be announcing hopefully here in the coming days. She's gonna be writing some more. So yeah, I mean, as far as like a team, that's about it.
Okay. Okay. When it comes to writing music, I know you were saying you don't like to. I don't know if that's the right word, but like you freestyle more, right? But when it comes to actually writing, do you have a place you go or a thing you do that gets you in the correct headspace for doing that to let the creative juices flow?
For sure. Like on Sky is Blue, I did spend a lot more time thinking about what I was writing. Whereas like when I'm just freestyling, it's kind of just like whatever sounds good and flows with the beat. But on Sky is Blue, I really wanted to pull the whole album together along with N's poem at the beginning. Um, I just wanted to talk about what my life had been in the last year since me and Flexo had dropped our first album. So it's a lot of like, yeah, it's reminiscing, you're just thinking about the past and the people that broke your heart or whatever. And I feel like a lot of that, getting my feelings hurt, as corny as that sounds, inspires me the most. People that doubt me or the naysayers, you're never going to beat this or do that, whatever. A lot of that just gives me that drive that I need to really make a good song and write like a good song. I don't like to write, you're right. I don't absolutely hate it the most, but
Yep.
I took a trip out to Texas last year, I think, and I was just in a car for a very long time. And when I got there, I was just stuck in this like condo for a couple of days. So I was just writing on my phone constantly nonstop and trying to perfect everything. And I mean, when I write a good song, I take a lot of pride in it. But sometimes it's like writer's block, like you just can't think of anything.
Yep.
But writing's fun sometimes. You can tell a story better than when you're just freestyling and just saying whatever comes to mind. But yeah,
For sure. That part of the creative process is, I think, something that more people share no matter what you actually do, whether it's music or videos, movies, whatever. It's the actual, like, sitting down, like, okay, I actually have to come up with ideas and figure something out. And you just sit there for 12 hours, like, suddenly, no ideas. Suddenly, my brain's empty.
it drives me nuts because like I'll hear a really dope beat and then like I'm thinking of ideas, and by the time I get like Pro Tools loaded up and I get situated, and then it's just like my drive is completely gone. I can't get the lyrics I was just thinking. I can't get the flow. Like, and like it's something that I just kind of announced last year too that I've never really been public about is like mental health. I'm
Yep.
bipolar, and that affects me, but also inspires me in a way. Some days I'm just super mad at I don't know what, the world or whatever. And some days I'm just feeling like I'm on top of the world. So it's either I hate the world or I'm on top of it.
Right.
And either or can inspire me to make, sad song, happy song,
For
good
sure.
feel song, whatever it is. But for sure.
For sure. It's always interesting. Creative processes are very intriguing because everybody does it different.
For
Whether
sure.
it's, well, I go smoke weed and sit on the deck and, stuff kind of, I get ideas and I don't write them down because I'm too high. I can't make my hands work. So I just record myself saying things. Sometimes there's cool ideas there. I know somebody who used to do that. That was how they came up with every idea for everything they did. It didn't go well, ever. But they had ideas nonstop. It was great. But, you know, oh, go ahead.
I give props to anybody that can smoke weed and be creative. Like that for sure is not me. I'm going to sleep if I do that
Yep,
instantly. Yeah,
that's the whole point of it. Knock me out. It's a good time. It's a good time.
for sure.
So, this was a question. Matthias and I have talked a bit about different questions I should ask. And what are some personal milestone goals that you've accomplished? Not like public feats, but things you've accomplished that you set out for yourself at the beginning of your music career. Different things you wanted to do that, you know, aren't specifically like, oh, well, I went on tour or I made an album. I think those are very average goals, like things specifically you had as goals for this.
Oh man, I mean, the thing that I started telling myself just recently, maybe late last year, is like, this could go anywhere. This could just, I could fall off one day and nobody cares about Wednesday anymore, or I could blow up and be the biggest thing anybody from around here has ever seen. But the thing that I keep telling me is that I need to just slow down, regardless of how it's going, and just enjoy the moments, whether they be good or bad. I want to be able to, like, someday, if I do blow up, look back and enjoy this, because you're never going to get this again if you,
Yep.
become this big artist. You're just going to look back and you're going to be like, what was it like? What was the journey like? What was the process like? But I guess when I was like 14, I got discovered by this artist, this DJ slash producer from Ukraine. His name was Whensday. And my goal at that, within those years that we were working together, was to just make a really good product, whether it be writing, rapping, or just giving my input. And we ended up working with Kanye West's creative company, Donda. They created all the artwork. So that was like a major milestone for me at like 15 or 14 years old. I was like, this is insane. Like, working with Kanye's creative company, I would have never thought. And working along with them, I got recognized by a lot of people in the industry. But another milestone that I had, of course, was getting 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which happened late last year.
Awesome.
That was really dope. I got a cake for it and everything. So I was really proud of that moment. Headlining my first show ever, I got to do that when I was still in high school. And my science teacher actually came out to my first show. So that was dope. That was a milestone. And we ended up packing the whole first floor of the venue. It was a free show, and ironically, it was on a Wednesday night. And they didn't think that anybody was going to come, but the venue was so packed that they had to get an extra bartender from another bar that they were partnered with to come keep up with the amount of people that were asking for alcohol and whatnot. So that was dope. And they came up to me after the show and said, "We're never doing a free show with you ever again." So that was the milestone. That was a milestone for sure. Um, and I got a bunch of goals still that, I haven't fulfilled yet. Being an artist, of course, everybody wants to get signed to a record label. It's always there's a gray line, is it going to benefit you? Do you want to keep your independence? I'm like in between on that. I do want to get signed someday. I want to change the lives of all my friends and family around me, because they deserve it. And, if that costs me owing a label like 10 albums, whatever, like, I can dish out music regardless, but definitely want to get signed someday, experience that, and help people out. Another milestone would be, and this is like maybe not even music related, but I want to open up like a foundation or something later on for mental health around the area, and just let kids, because a lot of kids do listen to music and they look for, motivation or inspiration, or just not to feel alone. I want people to be aware that it's okay to not be mentally healthy. It's okay to have those flaws. So that's another goal. I want to open up a foundation or something like that.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, that's about it. Of course, I want a Grammy someday so I can just put it on the bookshelf.
Sure.
Yeah, that's as far as I can think right now. Yeah, that's it.
I do like the, focus more on the journey than the end goal, right? Because
For
I
sure.
think that would suck, be so eyes to the future that you finally get there and, well, what was the journey like? I don't remember. I didn't care. I didn't care about the journey. I cared about getting here. Now I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. like
You kind of almost lose like your purpose, like why did you start doing this in the first place? And I have friends who have signed labels, and we don't talk on the daily like we used to anymore. And I wouldn't say that they switched up or what the case may be, but it almost feels like they didn't slow down and enjoy what their life was like in the process of making it to where they are now. And now they may be unhappy, or they don't know what the goal is or whatever. But that's something that I just tell myself constantly, is like, wherever this goes, I want to enjoy these moments. Every single show that I've had, anybody who's come up to me, after a show and told me that was crazy, I appreciate it. Like, just those kinds of moments, you just want to soak it in and enjoy it while you can.
for sure. For sure. I yeah. The journey, I think, if you listen to like other artists who have made it, right? Because I think everybody's definition of made it is very different.
For
Who's
sure.
made it and who hasn't, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't know, is money the determining factor? Fame? I don't know. But if you listen to bigger artists who've made it, they always talk about how the journey was the most fun part because it's where you do the most, you learn the most. You get to a point where it's just like you're just there. You just exist now. There's like I think for some artists there's not another hill to try to climb. Like you've just peaked and now what do you do? And I think getting there without remembering the journey would be awful.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. Me and Flixer, I put out like 10 singles. I think it was last summer before we put out Sky is Blue. Um, and to just get in the mentality of being hungry, because everybody, whether you're a gamer, whether you're an artist, or you make movies or whatever, you sometimes get a roadblock
Yep.
and you don't know if you want to do it anymore. You don't have the motivation, inspiration. I felt like I was way too comfortable in my situation with life and people around me that I just kind of had to force myself to just struggle. Like I just started fasting. Um, I would go days where I would just literally starve myself because I felt like I just wasn't hungry literally to accomplish anything. So I literally would just go like weeks where I would have maybe one meal a day, and it would be a very small meal. And then the rest of the time I was just drinking water just to make myself feel like I need to make something good because I need to get out of this. Like I need to get out of this mentality, the situation. Like that was the craziest thing that I've done just to make some music. Just literally fast, starve myself, and just put my body through that like experience of like I can't be comfortable. You never can get comfortable.
Right. That's that's fair. And that's super interesting, right? Cuz you always think of, I want to get out of the struggle, right? And then the minute you're out of it, you realize, oh, the struggle is what helped me do what I do. Oh no. Now I have to force myself to struggle somehow, which is just weird. It's a
Yeah,
weird
yeah,
thing but at least as far as I know, that's how almost everybody has to be. I don't know many
yeah.
people who get to be complacent and still great at what they do.
No, it's tough once you feel like like you said, like you've made it, quote unquote. It's like, what's your drive now? What are you doing it for? What is the reward? I'm just like, I can't be comfortable in the shoes that I'm in right now, because then I'm just gonna give you half-ass music and it's not gonna be anything that's worth listening to, relatable. Like I need to put myself through these situations, whether it be, starving myself, getting heartbroken, um, just dealing with the things going through your head constantly. And that's a big thing, is just face it. Whatever you're struggling with, is just face it, overcome it, and it's a better feeling at the end of it.
For sure. I think sorry. Um I don't know. the it's interesting that you have to find struggles. That's always weird.
Yeah, I
It
wouldn't say like I'm rich in any kind of aspect or
no.
anything like that, but you just you get in this routine of life is going really really good, and as weird as it sounds, like I can't really make too many feel good songs. That's just not like the crowd that I reach out to or whatever. Sky is Blue is a very optimistic album. I feel it's a very
Yeah.
like get out there, do whatever you want. Even on rainy days, like past all those clouds, the sky is always going to be blue. And I was really proud of that because it took a lot for me to create a body like that and be so upbeat and joyous, and it was fun to do something other than just like my sad sappy music, crying about a girl, whatever.
Right. Fair enough. So I'm going to go back into some more ideas Matthias wanted me to try in a couple of different places. So this one's interesting. I'm going to choose 3 of my personal favorite songs just in general. And we're supposed to see if any of those songs actually had an impact on what you do, right? Does that kind of make sense? This was an idea.
Yeah.
I want to try it out. I want to see how it
Okay.
goes. So, knowing you're more rap leaning, I'm going to try to figure out. I want to make sure I'm naming songs you might know because it'd be tough if you didn't know any of the 3. So, I got to do that a little bit. Would you say there's a song in particular that has inspired you more or had a huge impact on you at all?
I wouldn't say a song necessarily, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. I mean, that
Okay.
whole album as a whole, like,
Okay.
just inspired me to try to produce. That really got me out of my shell, and a lot of my earlier stuff that I was self-producing was inspired by that album. That album literally changed my whole mindset and life, I would say.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think I've got a couple of songs. So Dysfunctional by Tech Nine. Um any, but I'm gonna specifically say Ill Mind of Hobson 5, but any of the Ill Minds. And
I,
oh, okay. You have thoughts on that one. I'll let you let's talk about this one. All right.
I literally remember when I first heard Hobson, it was on World Star Hip Hop back when it was like the thing. They had posted it, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was coming at rappers, correct?
Some of it, yeah. And Ill Mind of
Yeah.
Hobson 5 was entirely going at every rapper that existed at the moment.
I thought he was insane. I was like, how this man is literally he has a spotlight on him and he's just dissing people, coming at people's necks, just saying like pretty wild shit.
Yep.
Um it was something that I wasn't really used to. It was different for me, but it almost felt like it felt wrong to like it, but that's what I loved about it so much.
Yep.
Is that this isn't like my typical go-to song or artist for that fact. But
Yeah.
like when you're in a mood or you're in a vibe like Hobson, you can't go wrong. You need to appreciate that man for his lyricalism or whatever the word is for it. He doesn't get his flowers. He doesn't get his credit. I feel like he's very slept on.
A lot of
But
people leave out Hobson.
oh my God, I mean, I don't remember how old I was when I first saw it, but I just knew I had just gotten internet, I think, and that was like my go-to. Hobson is like, and no other kid in the school knew who he was. So I was like, I feel like this is my one thing that I can be unique. Maybe people find me weird for it, but this is really dope. This is what I was listening to like on the way to school on the bus, on the
Yep.
way home on the bus. Like, just had my phone on, earphones on, and that's what I was bumping, man.
So, interestingly, I didn't discover Hobson by listening to Hobson, or even Tech Nine for that matter. There's an artist, his name is The Joker. Jokerr, double R's for some reason. Him and Hobson were best friends for a long time. And I guess when Hobson signed with Funk Music, he totally ditched the Joker, like just told him to go fuck off. And so I had listened to the Joker forever. And he made a oh god, what was his stupid something, whatever the song was, it was specifically a dig at Hobson. And so I was like, okay, who the fuck is this dude? And I think the first Hobson song I ever heard was Illmind to Hobson 5. I was like, oh, okay, this is nuts. But yeah, the Joker also had like, he was going to be signed to Strange Music. He got like invited to sit down on the tour bus with Tech and have Tech listen to his music. And the Tech's manager just kicked him off the bus for no reason. So he drove from like Arizona to LA, and Tech got to listen to one song before he got kicked off the bus. So he did a whole diss on Tech that is actually hilarious.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I've never heard of this guy before,
I'll
but I
send
need
it
to check
to
it
you
out.
because a couple of his songs
Please.
are just hilarious. He also disses the Insane Clown Posse and just all of the Juggalo rappers. That I think he's more funny than actually a good artist, but it's still just a fun time. Like, it's just a blast sometimes. But on his YouTube channel, you can go back and find like videos of him and like pre-fame Hobson just sitting in a basement freestyling. And it's such a weird dynamic. Because then later you listen to the song about fuck Hobson. It's like, you know what? Fair. Fair.
Speaking of Tech Nine, I used to work when I was in high school in this local restaurant in town, and my boss was actually like one of the biggest Tech Nine fans. This man would, late night at the bar, he would get drunk, and then when he'd come back to the kitchen where I was like cleaning up, and he would just put Tech Nine on the speaker. He would put on like a Tech Nine instrumental, and this man would literally try to rap out on me, and I was like, yo, you need to relax.
You need to relax.
I'm literally like greased up right now, and he's trying to rap out on me. Like, you gotta at least let me get off the clock.
Make sure you can't fire me when we do this.
Yeah, because I'm about to smoke you, though.
That's awesome. But yeah, the Tech is also somebody who it seems like nobody remembers. Like when you start talking about rappers, nobody mentions Tech. And I don't know why.
I think it probably has something to do with like he's not commercially appealing, right? Like he's not on the
That's
radio, he's not pop. But I feel like more people in the underground scene appreciate and respect him more than people that listen to the radio or listen to like, whatever's popping at the time, trendy. You really got to dig and dive into that whole scene of like rappers that are great, like Tech Nine, Hobson. Tyler the Creator when he first came out, that was dope.
Yep.
Everything he's making now is still dope, but when I first heard Tyler the Creator, that was just like, my mom better not hear me listening to this type of shit,
Right. For sure. I pulled up the lyrics for Illmind to Hobson 5, and oh my god. I love that the first line of the entire song is, man, I hate rap, but if the shoe fits, wear it. It's like, all right, I guess you don't have to love your job, but fuck, okay. Like,
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, though.
I'm ashamed I played a part in this devilish game, making your common sense perish. I like that. It's so many bars. I forgot how fucking long that song is. Okay. Gotta scroll like 10 times to get through all the lyrics.
He's the go. We need campaign. People need to give Hobson his flowers.
They do. They really do.
Damn it.
Oh, so good. Honestly, speaking of Hobson and Tech, Am I a Psycho? Did you ever listen to that song? It's Hobson Tech
Um,
and B.O.B.
yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah.
I
The
remember riding around in high school in this girl's car, and she had like back in the day we used to burn CDs.
yes.
And she used to play that song all the time in the car. Every single time she picked me up, she'd be playing that song. B.O.B. Shout out to B.O.B. You're not forgotten. You're still appreciated for sure.
B.O.B. really did kind of come onto the scene really hard with like it was that song with Tech and Hop, and then he did I can't remember the album, but oh god.
I'm
It had
pretty sure I know what you're talking about
yeah,
too.
he did the one album that blew up. And then I haven't heard from him since then. That's a lie. He did Airplanes with Eminem and Haley. Was it Haley Williams?
I think yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. He did both versions of Airplanes. But other than that, he just disappeared.
Yeah, no, I think maybe like a year ago, this producer tried reaching out to me and told me that he produced for B.O.B. and I was just like, is that supposed to be a flex? Like, no disrespect to B.O.B. I'll look to that guy, but I was just like, where is this man at?
Yeah, right?
Somebody find him.
Same with like Akon. Lonely
Yeah,
Island disappeared.
there was like an ad that came out with Akon and he had like hair and everybody was like freaking out about it and I was like, he didn't have hair before? I was like, is this supposed to be like the Mandela effect? Like I just don't remember the man's had hair or what?
Right? Like, oh man. So many weird artists that like everyone remembers but no one remembers. Like you mention them for some reason and everybody's like, "Oh, I know them." But nobody ever thinks of them,
No, they're just there. I mean, they did what they had to do and we appreciate it, but it is what it is.
right? It's like nobody's ever sitting in their car like, "I got to drive to work. What am I feeling today? Let's put on some Akon." Nobody's saying that in 2022. Pump some Akon on the way to work.
I think the last time that I seen he was really in the spotlight was when he did that song with 6ix9ine.
Oh yeah.
I think it was a remix of one of his older songs or something like that. But I was like, man, what happened?
Oh, and then you got Soulja Boy out here as a streamer now instead. And a streamer and then making weird tech products that are awful.
Yes, I agree 100%. He's not lying when he was like the first big internet rapper, though. You
That's
got to
true.
give that man just credit for
Absolutely.
sure.
For
But as
sure.
far as like all the entrepreneuring stuff, like credit to it, but at the same time, like, is it really trustworthy?
Right, right. It's like, well, he was the first to do it. I don't think he was the best to do it, but he got there.
Valid.
He showed people another way of doing things. But he also felt like one of those people who got there either too quick or was only focused on getting there. Cuz he totally just dropped. Like, I'm here. What the fuck do I do now?
That's just like the same argument with I don't know if you remember Fetty Wap. Like,
Yep.
everybody in the industry says that his label maybe is the blame for it, but he literally had hits back to back to back. And everybody's like, maybe he should have kept like a couple of those songs and released them later on and not just like boom, boom, boom.
Right.
One that type of stuff. So,
But
yeah.
Fetty Wap did blow up and then go away in like a year.
Literally, I couldn't go anywhere without hearing 1738.
Yep.
Like anywhere.
Yep.
Insane.
Shit, I think I still have some playlists that have those 3 songs of his that just exploded. They still just are on there. To be fair, I make a new playlist like every month, but
yeah, I mean, when the songs came out, like I literally bought them. Like it was so catchy, you couldn't avoid it anywhere. I was in high school. You would go to high school dancing, and that's all they would put on the DJ, like just Fetty Wap 17.
Yep. Oh man, that's. Oh.
You got me reminiscing for sure.
Yeah, the more we sit here, the more weird artists I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. Uh now I almost want to go find a playlist and just start scrolling and see what we got. I mean, obviously
What
there's
are
a
the
lot of
hidden
weird.
gems?
There's a lot of weird ones, like Creed. That's not rap, but Creed still is like they made like 3 songs that were great, and I think those are the only 3 songs any human has ever listened to by Creed.
What's
uh
uh what's the band that I think is it Haley Williams is in? Paramore?
Paramore. Yeah, they made
Man, fire.
god damn it. Now I'm looking it up. Paramore, Misery Business. That's the only song people know by Paramore.
Sadly, but she's got some vocals on her.
Oh my god, Haley Williams is nuts. Her and then like Chester Bennington was another dude who just unmatched vocally. I've never seen artists that could do what he did with his voice. It was impressive.
Literally, literally.
Um Good god. Now we are really reminiscing just about everything. Uh oh god. Just go see all the artists Eminem has collabed with. That's how you know who fell off. Because like
Yeah.
everyone he ever collabed with, none of them exist anymore. Sounds
If I
horrible.
got an Eminem verse, I'd be like, of course, I would be like, now I can relax. I've quote unquote made it or whatever. But you gotta like stem from that. You gotta use it to your benefit. Like they
Yep.
say, you get the Drake stimulus package. You get a Drake verse, you're off to the races type of
Right?
shit.
For sure. Give him some. Oh my god, Nate Dogg. There you go. There's a name.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking 50 Cent. He's only worth 50 cents now, but
That man, the last time I like remember him vividly was Vitamin Water, and I was hooked on Vitamin Water at the time, and I think
yep.
he was like an investor or something like that.
Yep.
But that's the last I've heard 50 Cent. And then he went
Right.
broke.
He did go broke. And then he did play the Super Bowl this year, which,
He did.
I mean, I loved it. I thought that was the coolest Super Bowl halftime show they could have done. Too many great artists. But
For sure.
that one was interesting.
I think that was about the only reason I watched the Super Bowl for the most part. But yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, wow, I have an Akon song in this playlist. To be fair, it's a playlist called All Time. It has like 75 hours worth of music on it. So it was just me like finding every song I've ever heard and enjoyed a little bit and throwing it in a playlist. So which was really stupid because I'd never listen to it because it's too confusing. You'll go from rap to country to heavy metal and it just hurts your brain.
I do like country music. A lot of older stuff,
Yep.
the oldies preferably. The new country is a little too pop for me, but the oldies are
Yeah.
timeless for sure.
But oh my god, Baby Bash. They made one song that you know, Cyclone. That's the
Dude, shout out to Baby Bash. That's my boy. He follows me on Twitter, man.
really nuts. That's awesome,
Yeah,
actually.
I remember watching his music videos on MTV, and then like randomly one day, my man followed me on Twitter, and I was like, "Thank you, sir."
Oh man, T-Pain was on that album, or on that song. I mean, yikes, wrong word. But oh my god.
I'm about to go. After this. I'm gonna go listen to all these songs, man. You're gonna be like reminiscing hard.
Oh well, I hope that works out and they're as good as you remember, because sometimes they aren't.
Yeah, you listen to it and you're like, wait a minute, this is not hitting like it was in 2007.
Right? Like, dude, I think T-Pain got so shit on for his use of auto-tune, and And then now the dude like Twitch streams and just starts singing or rapping, and you're like, oh, dude can sing. Like, dude's got a voice. He was just using autotune as flair. Oh. Oh, so everybody just sucked, and that's the reason we have no more T-Pain. Okay.
I don't know if you heard this, but there was like an article that came out or a rumor or something like that that Usher was shitting on T-Pain when T-Pain first came out, and that played a big role on like why he used autotune or why he kind of went away for a while. But Mans was ahead of his time. You know, everybody's using autotune now, so for
Right?
sure, shout
And
out to T-Pain.
most people aren't using it as well as he did either. Like,
Oh man, it was almost like he was born with autotune. Like that's just how good he got at it.
right?
How good it sounded on him. Like it's just classic.
100%. So good. Yeah, so it was Haley Williams on Airplanes.
Yeah.
Now the fucking Teo Cruz.
Oh, what was that one song that was like major?
Dynamite.
Yeah, there you go, right there. That was another high school dance classic.
Yep, 100%. Ludacris. Everyone always forgets Ludacris.
Oh yeah. He's classic.
We really are just going back through random people. Flo Rida. There you go.
I think he's gonna be in Iowa. One of these older rappers is about to be in Iowa, like in September or something like that.
Really?
They're performing at this new arena we got in Coralville, and of course everybody's gonna go to it because just like us right now, we're reminiscing.
Right? They hear the name and they go, "Damn, I forgot about you. Let's go see him."
I really don't know. Like, I'm sure the man has like multiple albums, but I don't know any songs minus the ones that were on the radio. So
right?
I probably can't jam out at that concert. My apologies.
Then you got Macklemore.
Very controversial.
Very controversial. But
My
hey,
favorite one
Thrift
that
Shop
Grammy.
was a banger, though.
Macklemore is not a bad artist. I'm not going to say he's a bad artist. He has good songs, but it was just the whole him winning the best rap album of the year that really just put that dent in his career. But man, he's good. He's good
for sure. I totally forgot if I was actually had a point with us going down this road. The point's been lost. We're just reminiscing now, apparently.
Nothing wrong with that.
But haven't seen a different artist in a while. Fucking Juicy J.
Oh. What happened to that? Is he still making music?
I have no idea. Let's give it a Google. I'm very intrigued. Juicy J.
I feel like either he's still making music or he's like invested into some weed company or something like that.
Wiz Khalifa and Juicy J made a song on December 3rd of 2021, I guess. That looks like the most recent.
Yeah. It's not that old, no.
I love that the most asked question on Google is Juicy J alive?
That's what I'm saying. I haven't heard of him. I haven't seen him really do anything crazy like
right
a couple years ago when he was on a roll, but
he has an official website. Okay. The hustle still continues is the first thing you see when you open his website. So fucking 2 Chainz. What the song that pops up is called Spend It by Juicy J featuring Lil Baby and 2 Chainz.
How old is that?
It's gotta be new. Now I gotta check Spotify, see what's actually happening.
I mean, there's Lil Baby's on it. It's
that's gotta be recent. His latest release came out this year. It was called Space Age Pimpin'. That was the name of the album. But that's not where that song came from, apparently. He's released 2 albums this year.
Holy shit. Man is working.
Apparently. This one is almost entirely a collab with Wiz Khalifa, though. It is entirely a collab with Wiz Khalifa. Wiz is on every song. So
What's that album called?
that one is called Stoner's Night, because of course it is.
Yes, of course.
What else is there? 2021, maybe? The Hustle Still Continue. Yep. Okay. Yep. NLE Choppa. Who else is on here? Logic. ASAP Rocky. Ty Dolla $ign.
Woo! that guy was on a roll. I mean, still even then, like, you hear him on like a couple songs doing backup vocals or whatever. The man can sing, no doubt. Yep. But yeah, he definitely had that role. I don't know what year it was. Where I mean, every song either he was on it or it was his song. It was just popping.
Yeah, that would have been, God, what, 2013? Maybe.
Around. I was still in high school.
Yep.
I just remember singing that Or Not song. And I was like, yo, this is so explicit.
Yep. Or Not was great. I don't know why, but everybody was listening to that fucking song. So many people, it's like, do you even know what the fuck they're saying in this song? Or are you just like, the beat's good, I'm chilling?
I was singing that shit on the top of my lungs, man.
Yep.
Knowing damn well I wasn't doing nothing crazy like the song.
Right? Oh, man. Gotta love it. Will I Am. Because, gotta break off from the Black Eyed Peas.
For sure. Even my dad was listening. There's this, he's a Mexican artist. He passed away, rest in peace. Joan Sebastian. Will I Am literally made a song with this guy, and it was like my dad's favorite song at the time. It was nothing like you would expect Will I Am to do, but I don't know if that man is even still making music or what his ventures are. But
I have no idea.
But he's a goat.
Wild.
He's a goat. Shout out to him.
Absolutely. Gotta love that. Just randomly Kendrick Lamar in this playlist. It's like, you don't really fit what we're talking about right now, man.
Did you listen to his last album or not?
Kendrick's newest album? No. No,
yeah,
I haven't.
You haven't?
No. Need to, apparently?
Might have to. You want to? I don't know. I wanted to hear your opinion on it, but you're going to have to listen to it and you have to get back to me.
All right.
Sure.
I'll have to do that. For sure. Fucking Jason Derulo.
Yeah, you already know.
I think that's all that needs to be said. Just Jason Derulo.
Literally the name itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the only lyric in all of his songs anyways, so. It's a Jason Derulo song, 'cause the first thing you hear is Jason Derulo. Bro's gotta make sure he's promoting himself in his own song.
Literally singing it all beautifully, whatever. So,
do you remember this cheerleader song? Like, oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. That Omi, Omi, Omi.
Yes.
That might be the artist who fell the farthest off, because he truly made one song. He might have made the only
song I ever heard.
Yeah, like, oh my God. Now I gotta see. No, he does have other songs. And he released an album in 2019. Oh, that's not the latest release. He made a single this year called Don't Stop.
Who signed this man? I need to know.
I have no idea. Oh, man.
I feel like a lot of, like, on the topic of reminiscing, a lot of the songs that were popping back then, like, I feel like they're almost coming back, like, on TikTok. People are using older songs for dances or whatever the case is. So I'm like,
which I absolutely love.
Back.
I love
that
that's happening. Oh my God.
Like all these little kids, like, reliving us when we were kids is crazy.
Right? Oh man. Afrojack. He was a weird artist. Pitbull, Neo.
Ooh.
Fucking Tyga.
Neo's dope. Tyga. I think he's like, what is he, like OnlyFans dude now or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Sort of
I
guy.
mean, good for you, I guess.
Yeah, make your money, get your bread.
For sure. But weird. Oh, man. I don't know if I like going back and reminiscing. It makes me feel old.
How old are you?
22.
22? Oh man, you got me feeling like an old
Oh,
man.
no. What are you,
That's
24?
crazy.
No.
Yeah, I'm 21.
Yep. There it goes. That sounds about right. Uh, yeah.
I was
But
like hoping you were like 25 or 24 at least. Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm the young guy. My bad. Dude, everybody tries to shame me for the fact that I'm younger than them lately. I don't know what's going on.
shame on me for being 22. God damn it.
No, like Eero was pissed. He was like, "I thought you were at least 30." I was like, "Fuck,
No.
man. Do I look that damn old? For fuck's sake. I don't want to be here anymore." Oh, that was tough. It's tough
So
times.
you're a gamer, right? You
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
What's your go-to game at the moment?
At the moment, probably Valorant.
And your PC,
Yep.
Xbox, what?
Uh,
PC.
I have my PC, an Xbox Series X, a PS4 because the PS5 is not a real product. I refuse to
which
believe
is
it exists.
which is crazy.
Right? And a Nintendo Switch. Got all of them right here. Got to be able to play any of the games people want to watch, I guess.
So what are your recommendations on Nintendo Switch? Because I've had a Switch for like 2 years now, and I buy a new game and I'm just bored like
Did you
immediately.
play Breath of the Wild already?
I have it, and I'm literally still playing it.
I was going to say you got to finish Breath of the Wild. It is so good. It's such a good game. But outside of that, I'm going to be honest, that is like the only Switch game I've played. I bought a
I
Switch to
feel
play
like
Legend of Zelda. That is it.
literally that's literally why I bought it, because I was listening to all the reviews on it and all the hype, and I wasn't disappointed, and I'm not disappointed. But it's such a I feel like it's a never ending game. Like there's always
Yep.
something to do, to explore, and yeah, I mean I what was it? What's that game where you're on an island? Animal Crossing, is that what
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah,
called?
yeah.
I
Yep.
tried playing that. It was dope, but it's just like I don't know. I always catch myself going back to Zelda and just trying to finish the game because I'm very
Yeah.
procrastinator on that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long game with a ton of like side quests and that type of thing, which is a good and a bad thing. Um, but I don't know. I bought my Switch to play Zelda and to have like I think I have a couple Mario games on there and a couple other things just for like if I go on a trip, I can still play some video games, I guess, but I I don't know. Nintendo's weird.
I'm like 50-50 on it, like whether I love it or I hate it. Like I'm either playing it or I'm putting it down for like a couple months and not going back to it. But
Yep.
I mean, initially why I bought it was I was going on a trip to Chicago and I was going to be on a train for, 2 hours or whatever. And funny story, like my dumbass had bought tickets, right? It was a round trip.
Okay.
Um, I had accidentally bought first class tickets on this train on the way there because it was the only ones that they had. And then on the way back, I was just riding like regular economy, whatever the hell.
Yep.
I literally got on the train, and this man's apparently they check your ticket after the train is leaving. So what happens if you don't have a ticket? Are they going to stop the train? Um, this man in front of everybody says, "Sir, you're sitting in the wrong section." And I said, "What?" He said, "Sir, you're supposed to be sitting in first class." I'm like, "Yeah, let everybody know that I'm sitting in first class and I'm not rich so I can get jumped immediately when I get off this train."
Yeah.
But moral of the story, I bought the Switch literally just for this trip. And the girl that I was dating at the time, we were like saving up money or whatever. We were going to move in, blah, blah, blah. She literally, like, I was just complaining about wanting the Switch so much. She says, why don't you just take the money that we have saved up and just buy it? And it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life, because she probably would have been stuck with that money had she just, she broke up with me. So that Switch is a reminder of that relationship. And maybe that's why I have like a 50-50 on why I love it and hate it.
That's valid. That's valid. That's hilarious. Oh man, I don't have any cool Switch stories or any cool train stories. I don't think I've ever been on a train, not an actual train.
But the crazy thing about the Switch was this is maybe like my second or third Switch. I had bought it, and for some reason, like the fans in the back were mad loud on my first one. Like it almost didn't sound normal. So I took it back. They gave me another one, and then on that one, I just felt like it was what do you call them, joysticks or
Joy Cons, yeah.
Joy Cons. I just felt like they were really cheap. Like they were super loose on the Switch when I would click it in. And so then I went back and got another one, and this one luckily fit my standards. But
see,
it was a hassle.
I had problems like that with PlayStation. I have owned, I think, 12 PlayStation 4s.
Whoa.
Because they just stop working. Like the HDMI port, it doesn't move. It just sits there. But I'll turn it on and no video display ever. So I take it back to GameStop and it's like, hey, I bought this here. And they're like, hey, cool, you still have your stupid warranty that you paid for. So I had like 12 PlayStations, but I was paying like $60 for them because I was just buying GameStop's warranty, where they just take it back and give you a full refund or just a new one. And I was like, cool. So yeah, I've had like 12 of them because they just stopped functioning. It's like, dude, fuck. My internet's not good enough to re-download games like this. Fuck.
Not the Wi-Fi.
Dude, you don't even want to know.
Literally, I used to have the same issues when I was living in Columbus Junction. And I called like my internet provider and they were like, well, you just got to move closer to headquarters. I was like, that's insane. And fast forward to a couple years later, I ended up moving closer to the headquarters. So do have good Wi-Fi now.
Nice. I wish I had good Wi-Fi. I'd have to move very far to get somewhere with good Wi-Fi.
And I mean, we live in like a town that's in the middle of nowhere, literally like in the middle of a cornfield. But apparently we're closer to headquarters and the internet is better. So, my brother can game up, whenever he wants and I can record music and there's no issue. But definitely costly. Definitely. Inflation.
I live in a state that is the middle of nowhere. I live in Wyoming. The whole place is the middle of nowhere. So,
no kidding.
Yeah. So, internet here sucks. Real hard.
So do you live like in town or do you live outside of town?
No, I live out in the middle of nowhere.
That's insane. Is it creepy? Is it you used to it by now, I'm guessing?
It still can be. There's no lights. So you start hearing shit at night. It's like, I don't know what that is. Could be a raccoon. Could be a murderer. Who the fuck knows?
Or both.
A murderous raccoon. Oh no. But yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't remember who it was, but I was on a Discord call with somebody the other night and I wanted to go smoke, so I like switched over to my phone and walked out, and it was middle of the night and they were like, let me see what's going on out there. I flipped the camera and it's just black. There's nothing. It's like, how do you do that? It's like, I sit here, hope nothing kills me. What am I gonna do? Like, what do you want from me?
That's pretty convenient though, as far as like, you don't have any neighbors, right?
Right. So
you could go out there and, I don't know, you smoke weed, I'm guessing.
I do. Yep.
So
weed,
you could smoke weed,
all that stuff. Yeah, where the fuck
over
ever.
Here it's like, I mean, I do have a pretty big yard, but obviously I got neighbors, and it's like, man, I gotta wait till the midnight to literally go out there and just enjoy,
For sure.
That's like the downside of it. So props to you. I'm jealous. I envy you for sure.
I wouldn't. As much as that one thing may be nice, there's a lot of downsides. Oh, you want to go buy a soda from somewhere? Cool, drive 30 miles. That's. Oh, you want food?
Different.
Spend an hour in the car just to get to a place that sells food. It's like, okay.
And with these gas prices, whoa.
Yeah, And because it's Wyoming, we get a ton of snow, so I drive a truck. So these gas
Cool.
prices, I just stay home.
That's a good idea. I don't know what's a gallon over there right now.
Right now, I think we're lower than everywhere else. I think just regular unleaded was 4.69.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're lucking out with it still being a little lower than lots of places, but still too damn high.
Yeah, I mean, like the local gas station that's like 5 minutes away from my house is like 5.79 a gallon right now, and that's
Jesus.
just regular unleaded. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy, man.
Oh well, it also there might be an impact of we don't have state tax, so
Oh wow, on the
yeah,
gas,
on anything
on
really.
anything.
We don't have state income tax. There's it's
Wow.
which is probably why we're so underdeveloped. They have no money to do
Well,
anything. Like, but
no comment.
hey, it's nice. It's nice if you live here and you make $10 an hour, you make more money than anybody who lives in any other state. Technically, at $10 an hour, you're making more because you don't have to pay in as much in taxes. So that's always
Yeah,
nice.
no, that is really nice.
But
I'm about to move out to Wyoming.
I wouldn't recommend it. Your neighbors are going to be some cows.
It's crazy because like everybody that lives in a different state is always complaining about their state. Like everybody here, trashes Iowa so bad.
Yep.
Like cornfields, pigs, that's all you got. And then you have, like you in Wyoming, you got to drive far as hell to get anything.
Yep.
It's like, man, are you ever going to be like really happy where you are?
Yes. I've been to places where I know I'd be happier. I just can't afford to.
Name your go-to right now.
I got 3 places that I'd love to be.
Let me hear.
Ever since I was, the first time I ever went to LA, I was like 12. But I don't know. I loved LA, man. Something about it. Just the whole vibe of the city. To be fair, this was 10 years ago. Vibe might have changed, but LA was always really high up there. Miami and Seattle. I don't know. I'm a city guy. I want to live in a city, but I think Seattle might be tops of like where I'd wish I could be. Just good vibe
I agree
up
with
there.
you.
But,
I agree. I went to Seattle 2 years ago, I think, and it was like, I don't know if it was a culture shock, maybe part of that, but it's just like, it's a whole different world out there, I swear. For sure.
I don't know why. Well, I mean, a lot of like companies are based in Seattle and like a lot of tech companies. So it almost seemed like the entire city was more technologically advanced than anywhere I'd ever been. They just got the newest stuff fastest because everything's centered there. I don't know.
It's so dope because you can be in the city and then you can drive, an hour or whatever, and you could be in the middle of a forest, and it's just like you got both worlds right there, and it's beautiful, man.
That's why Seattle and LA are up there. Their location is just so good. It's like for Seattle, you got the beach, you got the forest, the trees, all within that little area, and the same with LA. I mean, you got the beach and the ocean, you got the city, and then you got the mountains and the hills just outside of it. Like you can see it all from downtown. It's like that's dope. That's a cool place to be.
Dope. So dope.
Then you get some cities that are just flat.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was flying into Seattle, like they tell you to look out the window because you can see the mountain that they got out there, and it was just taken for sure.
Yep. But I think LA's off the list. Too much state tax in California. You make no money there.
And the gas.
Oh my God.
Out the roof.
I guess
I don't know how people live in LA or California in general. It seems like it's.
They drive a Tesla and have solar panels. That is how. So they don't pay for their power or their gas. They just chill. That's the only way it's possible. I think, at least. Or you're just rich out of your ass and don't have to care.
That's a possibility. Yeah. I mean, I would whip a Tesla if it wasn't, an arm and a leg, but.
Right. All cars are an arm and a leg right now, I guess.
Oh,
unless you're buying used. And even then, right
And
now.
yeah, even then, yeah, they're charging up the ass with that, and like even like the dealerships around the city, like all the dealerships are empty, all the cars are off the lot, and it's like, what happened?
Well, so what happened is they're not able to produce new vehicles right now. So the same thing, I don't know how into tech you are, but like computer components have just not existed since the pandemic. And it's because even before the pandemic, which caused work shortages and stoppages and all that kind of stuff, before that, we hit a silicon shortage. So not like silicone like you use to board up your windows or whatever. Silicon is what is used to make all of the different components for it. All vehicles right now require these same little processing chips, and they can't get them. There are lots of 2022 Ford F-150s ready to go, except they don't have the computer chip, so they can't run. So they're just sitting there rotting because they can't
Insane.
get them. It's nuts.
And the scary part of it is, I mean, I feel like we've talked about anything in this podcast, but
Yeah.
the thing about it is like, to me, the scary part is the economy just crashing, and
Yep.
at the end of all this, and I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know what the world is going to be like, but it's just scary to think about it,
It
especially
really
being
is.
like an adult now that you have
Yeah.
responsibilities and bills. It's like,
We have to care now.
dog. Yeah, I mean, it's like gas just to go to work,
Right.
and then you go to the grocery store, everything is like expensive as fuck now,
Oh
and
my God.
I don't know what it's going to come to, but it's kind of scary.
Absolutely. I mean, well, as I told you, because of where I live, there's not a lot of jobs. So I guess I'm kind of blessed that I do what I do because I get to sit at home and still work. But also,
So
how long does that going to work?
what do you do for a job or what?
Just, the podcast, streams, videos, that content creation. Doesn't
Yo,
pay a ton, but I would make $0 if I worked anywhere around here. Just putting gas in my truck would cost more than I would make. I did
but
the
that's
math
dope.
once.
I mean, you're happy. As long as you're happy doing that,
For
like that,
sure. For sure.
mental health again.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like as long as you're happy, that's all that matters, man.
Right?
For sure. I've gone through rough patches growing up. Just
Yep.
moving from place to place, and it's like, as long as you're really happy, you don't really need anything else for the most part, I feel.
Right? And maybe food and water.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I love food, man. I love food.
Yeah, food's
Like
good.
even especially in like Seattle when you're trying all these different kinds of foods, man, it's insane too. That would be one of the places I would move to if I could. That or Utah. Utah would be another place for sure.
Utah. That's interesting. Why Utah?
So that Park City specifically, it's like 45 minutes from Salt Lake City. I don't know if you've ever heard of Park
Yeah,
City,
yeah, yeah.
but I went out there with the girl that I was with at the time, and it was just like a different. It was in the middle of the winter, so you still had the snow and people going out there to ski. But I was in a condo that was you could see the mountains from every direction, and it's just like you go out in the morning. The air just feels different, man. You just it is just so refreshing compared to like what you breathe here in Iowa. It's a whole different vibe. You go downtown, and man, I don't know. It's I would definitely move to Park City if I could in a heartbeat.
Fair enough. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard a single person tell me they want to move to Utah.
If I got signed like right now, first thing I would do is get a house out in Park City for sure.
That's
For
awesome.
sure.
That's
For
awesome.
sure.
Um, so by the way, we've talked about everything on this podcast. That's the reason it's called the Scuffed As Podcast. There's no plan. We just do. So for the name of that, it was the first episode I ever recorded. I didn't know what I was going to call it. I just knew I wanted to start a podcast. So I was like, welcome to I don't know what this is. And I was like, welcome to this Scuffed Ass Podcast. And I don't know, when I listened to it back, I was like, hey, that could work. Probably can't have ass in the title, though. Apple won't like it. But
I
So,
like it though. I respect it, and it's a cool vibe. You know, you don't feel like you're cemented to like
right,
an outline or a template on asking questions. Like we talk about whatever, and
right.
this is probably one of the coolest interviews I've had for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. I try my best to not look like a moron. I don't know if I do a good job at not looking like a moron, but hey, we're here anyways. But
And no, for this being like our first interaction, really, besides when you DM me or whatever, man, you're a really cool guy. Like I would go over and I would smoke, drink, whatever with you. You're a dope ass guy for sure.
appreciate that. You too, man. That's the other thing I've been shocked about is just how many, I don't know, cool people you get to meet doing this, right? You also get to meet some absolute dickheads, but we try to forget about those. We don't talk about those.
For sure, man. For sure. I mean, in the industry that we're in, you meet all kinds of different people. People
Yep.
with big egos, people who are,
Yep.
humble and grounded like us. It's cool, man. It's cool to meet cool people like you. I feel like today, officially, I have made a new friend.
Me too. I appreciate that. There are also the weird people who pretend to be cool with you so that they can use you to vault themselves. Annoys the fuck out of me every time.
Hate it.
Because I'm going to bite
Hate it.
every time. It's like, I want to meet people. I want to do cool stuff. So absolutely we can, do whatever. Then it turns out they're a dickbag. And it's like, damn it. Okay. Fine.
I feel it, man. I'm nice to a fault sometimes, and people take advantage of it, and
Yep.
like I'll let you in on the inside of the announcement that I'm making.
Ooh, we're making an
Hopefully,
announcement.
for sure. So over the years, like I first started on SoundCloud, of course, like any other rapper. I got my SoundCloud gems, and people have been bothering me to like upload them on all streaming platforms. So I'm gonna be dropping like all these
Ooh.
SoundCloud classics. Hopefully, in the next 2 weeks or so, we're doing the finishing touches on it. And where was I going with this? Where
Big
was I
announcement.
going?
The SoundCloud classics.
Oh.
We were on
Yes,
something.
yes. I'm on it. I'm on it now. So I'm nice to a fault, right? I let all these people
Yeah.
interact with me, use me for whatever it is, whether it be promoting their stuff or collaborating. And so the title of the whole, compilation, if you want to call it that, is going to be "Thank God for Me." And that sounds very selfish off the top, but when you hear like
Sure.
the story behind it is like, if it wasn't for me, where would this girl who came into my life just to benefit and mooch off me, where would you be without me? Thank God for me.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me, like, who would this? I've had rappers steal whole ass songs from me and act like I wouldn't find out. Like, man, you use the same beat, hook, verse. Like, if it wasn't for me, who would you steal from? Thank God for me.
He
Like
stole
that.
my
That's
whole shit, word for word, bar for bar.
bar for bar. Literally, this happened before the whole Soldier Boy thing, man. So I could say I did it first.
That's awesome. Well, it's not awesome, but it's
Right, yeah. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be dropping here soon. So hopefully we can wrap up. We're waiting on
okay.
some vocals and whatnot. And the cover art
Awesome.
is super dope. So
Awesome.
excited.
Well, who did the cover art? Anyone we know?
So no, she's a friend who I grew up with. Her name is Laura Hernandez. Shout out to Laura. The photo is actually of another good friend of mine, Mallory. And then Laura came in and just kind of did some little details on it. The girl in the photo is wearing like a necklace that says Whensday on it. And then it's going to be called Thank God for Me. So it kind of just all ties together. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Honestly, it sounds dope. And we get to hear what OG Whensday was. So that's going to be
for sure,
interesting.
For sure. It could be cringe. It could be good. I don't know. We'll have to see.
One thing I know, I hate going back and watching old stuff I've made, old streams, old podcasts, old whatever, because it's like, oh my God, why the fuck did anybody ever listen to this dude say words? Like, this guy's a moron. Why are we listening to him? Or like you can tell, like, I was still like afraid of the camera kind of like couldn't be me when I was in front of the camera. I almost had to put on a act, and it wasn't a good one. So I hate going back and looking at old stuff. Somebody will bring up this video of yours from 5 years ago got recommended to me. It's like, fucking why? You didn't watch it, did you?
I'm the same way with like old music. Is people tell me, yo, this is a great song, this is a classic, whatever. And I'm just like, I really don't want to listen to that. Like, you could tell that I still maybe hadn't hit puberty all the way. The voice was a little more high pitched, but you got to give the people what they want.
Right. Oh, it's just a whole weird thing. But
I feel you on that aspect where, your first couple of streams, you're kind of like, you can't really fully be yourself. You feel weirded out or whatever. And like when I first came out and did music, it was, I was being somebody that I wasn't maybe completely all the way, but, just somebody, I don't remember who, so I can't give credit, but somebody told me, he's like, man, just be yourself. Just, if the people accept it, great. There's always going to be people who hate or don't accept you.
For sure.
And we're all going to die someday. So do what makes you happy. Be you. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I never had anybody to give me that kind of advice because, where I live, people didn't realize the internet existed 5 years ago. So it's like trying to do this thing and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying it. And it's just something, at least that I've noticed, even with people who do know more about the space when they start to get into it, everybody starts off by being a weirdly different person. And then you see that shell that they've built themselves slowly fade away. And it's like, okay, now you're a person I can vibe with because you're finally a real person. You're no longer this weird, like, face that you want everybody to think is you. Fuck that. Be you.
Yeah, literally, I've had, like, people hit me up on social media and say, I saw you at the mall or I saw you at this coffee place, blah, blah. I was too afraid to approach you because everybody thinks I'm a dick for some reason. Everybody thinks I'm an asshole. But then, once they get to know me and we hang out or whatever, they're like, you're the coolest person ever. This is like, I hate that I come off that way. I don't know why I would,
right.
But I'm cool and I want to be nice to everybody and help everybody out. But
for sure,
gotta be careful with it too.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think it also might just be if they're a big fan of your music or whatever, and that's why they recognize you, maybe you put off the vibe of scary dude. I don't know. I don't get that vibe, but I'm also not in the same room as you. There's a camera and like thousands of miles in between us. What are you gonna do? End the call? No. Ooh. So like,
yeah, no, I want to be, it's like you said, just be yourself, be genuine, and I'm just a really cool, nice guy, and I've hung out with, it's so weird calling people fans. It's like I could have 1 million followers on social media, and I still would be super weirded out saying that I have fans. But
yeah,
like when I hang out with fans, it's like the complete opposite of what they anticipated it would go. Like, if you're a fan, I'm coming over to you and I'm bringing you merch and taking you out for lunch, whatever it is. And
yeah.
I want to thank you for listening to my music because there's so many people you could listen to,
Right.
And the fact that you chose to listen to me and I'm your go-to for this moment or that moment, like, it means the world to me.
That's 100% a thing. I've never ran into any fans in real life. I don't leave my house and I live in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, so like, who am I gonna run into? But it's one of those things, like, I'll say it on streams, it's like, you guys decide to spend your time watching me. There's a billion other streamers. Like, I don't know, the weird idea of not appreciating your fans, you wouldn't be there without them, right? Like, there's this weird,
100%.
well, the people will come. It's like, until they don't. Like, you be a dickbag. Nobody's going to show up anymore once they figure out what you are. Like, you gotta, I don't know. It's a cool thing. There are people who choose to spend their free time enjoying the things you create. That's awesome. right?
That
Like,
is awesome. That's insane.
it's an impact you get to have on people that you would have never met if you just
Literally, I
lived a
mean,
regular life.
yeah. I mean, we could do that. We could be like, you know what, I want to live a regular life, but
Yep.
it's the challenge. It's the I know I can do it
Yep.
vibe. And I've had people from Japan hit me up and say that they like
Yep.
my music. I've had people from Canada, Mexico, Brazil,
Right.
Europe, everywhere, and it's just like mind blowing. Like, I'm just this guy from Iowa.
Right.
You would see Iowa, you'd be like, well, who's gonna take a rapper seriously from Iowa? What are you rapping about? Corn and
What are you rapping about?
farm
Corn?
life and bush light and all
Okay.
this, but
Can I pay you to make a joke song like that? A rap song that is like entirely country based. I think it would be fucking hilarious.
that's a good idea. And I thought about it. It's
You
just the
gotta do it.
matter of like literally getting down and doing it and putting it out.
Yeah.
And that's like one of those things. It's like you still gotta have fun with this, even
Right?
though it's something that you do take serious. You also gotta like just sit back
100%.
and just have fun, man.
Absolutely.
That could
You,
definitely happen.
that'll be so fucking funny. I, I can't. I can't. But all right. Well, I think at least for stuff I had planned to talk about, that's mostly it. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on, speak about?
No, man, I'm very grateful, and it means the world for me and Flixo for you to reach out and do this for us. You could have anybody on this. This is your podcast. This is your world. This is your thing. And for the fact that you reached out to me and wanted me on here, it means the world. I owe you a lot, and I thank you so much for it.
Now, I owe you a lot, though. Let's be real here. There are a ton of shows you could go on to interview and to talk. And the fact that you accepted the invite, came on, that means a ton to me. I don't get a ton of new guests around here much, so super thankful for that.
I mean,
We're going to play this nice back and forth game for an hour.
No, but I really do. I appreciate it. It's not a lot of people that do reach out to me and say, come on my show and talk to me. I don't know if maybe it's just because I don't come off like a guy that does interviews or whatever, but I want you to know that you can hit me up for anything and everything, and I will be at your, whatever you need, man.
Awesome. I really do appreciate that. And without a doubt, you'll be back on at some point. It was a good time. Fun conversation.
Yeah, man. Anytime, anything you need, just hit me up and I got you.
Awesome. I really do appreciate that. But for now, I don't know your on every social media platform, so I'll link him down below. Go give him a follow. Check out his music on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, I guess, wherever else. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.